Hey, welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Row. Tonight we are going through bourbons that I'm saying bye to. These bourbons are ones that I've had on multiple occasions. I've let them open up. I've given them all the opportunities that I can. And tonight we're saying goodbye to them. Now, what am I going to do with these? Well, I'm not going to drain pour them because there's very few whiskeys that I'll actually drain pour because I figure if I don't like them and I don't want them, I'll let some other folks try them. So what we're doing with these 9 bottles, we have a Patreon community. They directly support Jamie and I in the production of these videos. And basically, we give these to the Patreons. So all of these bottles are going into our Patreon community to whoever wants them, or we'll figure it out. We have a process to get those into the hands of somebody who wants to try them. Now, if you end up enjoying this video, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Now, let me show you what these 9 bottles that I'm giving up on. I give up on this bourbon. And first up tonight, let's start right here. We're going to start with Basil Hayden Toast. Now, Basil Hayden Toast came out, well, first of all, this thing comes in at 80 proof, as all Basil Haydens do. And when it came out, I was really, really excited because I like toasted bourbon. And I thought, well, hey, this might be really, really good because I don't like normal Basil Hayden, but maybe if you toast it, maybe then I'll like it. Well, the answer is no. I still don't like it. I still don't want it. And I'm not a Basil Hayden guy. I don't like any Basil Hayden. I don't like the regular stuff. I've got some other Basil Haydens. I got a 10-year rye and a 10-year bourbon, and then this toast. But my problem with Basil Hayden across the board is at 80 proof, there's not enough whiskey there to bring any flavors. It is like bourbon flavored water in so many ways to me. There are other 80 proof bourbons that are actually pretty decent, but to me, it's not Basil Hayden. If you're on the market for a toasted bourbon, go with like Old Forester 1910 or even Woodford Reserve Double Oak, which is double oak. And I think those are much, much better options than a Basil Hayden toast. Now, some of you might be asking, what am I drinking tonight? Well, tonight I'm drinking Augusta Distillery Buckner's. It's a barrel strength 121 proof bourbon. It's Kentucky bourbon. I don't know. They source it from somewhere, I'm guessing. 13 years old, and this thing is pretty darn tasty. I'm not getting rid of this one. This one's a good bottle. Now, I do have to say, some of these bottles, you might love them. And if you have them in your collection and you love them, kudos to you. I'm glad you found a bottle you love. Here on Whiskey Row, we are all about those bottles that we love. And we all have different flavor profiles, different textures that we like, different flavors, different smells, we're different people, right? And that's cool. So if these are on your list, please don't be offended. I hope nothing but the best for you, and I'm glad that you enjoy them. And when I give these to the Patreons, I'm just helping them kind of experience something different. And maybe some of these are ones they haven't had, and I don't want them anymore. So, and plus, I need to make room on the shelves of the Speakeasy for other stuff because we've still got more store haul videos to do. Because despite me saying I'm going to slow down, I seem to never do it. All right, next up is another Basil Hayden's. Fancy that. 10-year bourbon. This is the 10-year age stated. This one is better than the regular one. I will give it that. And these aren't gross by any means. I don't think... the toasted one's a little funny. This one is not that bad. The rye is not that bad. But really, when it comes down to it, they're just not that good either. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. They're not gross in any way. But they're just so thin and uninteresting. And why not let somebody else have them? So I'm saying goodbye to this Basil Hayden 10-year. I got this here in Virginia, the Virginia ABC. I want to say I paid like $60 for it. Definitely was a bad buy. I was hopeful that it would be kind of interesting and I could put it in some 10-year competition, some 10-year blinds and put it up against them. And I tried it when I first got it. And there was no point because every time I put it in there, it came in last place because it was so thin and uninteresting that it just would not stand up at all. All right, next up we have, well, fancy that, another Basil Hayden. I almost feel like there's a theme. I kind of feel like that when I decide I'm done with a distillery or a brand or something, I'm done. And, well, here's another Basil Hayden. This is Basil Hayden 10-year rye. Now, again, this isn't like gross. It's just uninteresting. It's too thin. It's not something that I really enjoy. Now, the one place where Basil Hayden might be a good spot for people is if you're if you're beginning in bourbon and this is like your first whiskey just because it's 80 proof. I've heard it described by some people as that's a great place for it. Even then, though, I don't think it's a great option. I think there's some other better options that are tastier, much more interesting, and much more palatable to the beginning bourbon lover. But your mileage may vary, and maybe you love this, and if you do, good for you. And again, this one, 10-year Basil Hayden rye, we're going to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Goodbye. All right, that was terrible. Apologies for that one. Here we have Willet Pot Still. I don't like this. It does not taste good to me. This is not something I want to keep. I've tried it many times. I've had it open for over a year, and it just doesn't get any better. It's not got any worse. It's just, it is what it is. This one comes in at 94 proof. I think I paid like 35 or 40 bucks for it back when I got it. I don't know what they go for now. It's an interesting bottle, but it takes up way too much space on the shelf. It's not space efficient in any way, shape, or form. And some people love the way it looks. I really don't. I like the old fits. Like, that's a really interesting one. But this is just kind of a little, I mean, could I pick it up? I could almost use it as a weapon, maybe. It's just, I don't know. I don't like the bottle. I don't like the whiskey in it. It doesn't do anything for me. Now, this next one I had such high hopes for. This is a Thomas S. More Cabernet Sauvignon cask finished bourbon, coming in at 95.3 proof. I really wanted to like this. When this came out here in Virginia, there was this one. There was the, this is the Cabernet Sauvignon, and then there's another one that I gave away, and then I've got one more that I haven't even opened yet. And I had such high hopes for this line, and I was going to do some videos on it because I thought it would be really interesting because there's the 3 different finishes, and I could talk about all these interesting ways that the finishes were different and these different finishing techniques. And I tried this when I opened it up and I tasted it, and I was like, nope, no, I'm done. And then I ended up giving the other one away in a either some giveaway of some kind. I don't know what it was for, but I gave it away. And then I've got one more, I think, but I'm not even gonna open it and try it. I'm just done. This thing was so off-putting to me. I didn't like it, and that's just my palate. I have now found through trying a lot of different wine finished bourbons that it's very, very rare for me to like wine finished bourbons. Some sherry finished ones, maybe some cognac ones, maybe some port ones, maybe, but just straight wine finished ones don't do it for me at all. There's something about them I just really don't care for very much, and that's just my palate. Blue Run Bourbon High Rye Bourbon Whiskey, coming in at 111 proof. This was the third Blue Run that I bought. I bought the Blue Run 14 year, the really rare one, when it first came out. It was maybe their first really big release, or at least their first big popular release. I got a hold of one, and I opened it. I was super disappointed. I've told that story many times. I ended up picking up that one, but that we're gonna show in a second. And it was so yeah. The next one's gonna be a Blue Run too. Imagine that. But this one I bought next, and then this one I bought last, and I hadn't tried that one before I bought this one, and then I opened both of them, and I didn't like either one of them. Anyway, this one's the High Rye Bourbon Whiskey, 111 proof. Beautiful bottle, interesting whiskey. It's not gross. The Willet is gross to me. This isn't gross. I just don't get excited about it. There's a lot of money in these bottles. I mean, they're relatively expensive bottles, and they just sit on my shelf because I don't want to drink them, and I don't really even like putting them in competitions for things because I don't really like recommending them. So I try not to give them camera time just for that reason. So why not give them, put them in the hands of somebody who might really, really enjoy them, or somebody who does enjoy them. Speak of the devil, and we have another Blue Run. It's a Blue Run cask strength rye whiskey, coming in at 106 proof. Didn't like this one either. Is this one, maybe it's up your alley. Maybe you love Blue Runs. And I know there's a lot of people who have great palates who love Blue Runs. I don't get it. That's, we're all different. Like, I know there's stuff that I like. For example, the Oak and Eden toasted. Some people hate Oak and Eden. The Oak and Eden toasted, I can't speak for any other ones other than the toasted. I kind of liked it. And I know I'm a little unique that way, but that's the bourbon world, right? Everybody's got their own taste preferences, and this was not mine. Next up, the Bardstown Ferrand. And I wouldn't normally give rid of this bottle. It's about a third gone. Normally at this point I might as well just keep it, but it's an expensive bottle. I bought this in Kentucky. I got it down off of downtown Louisville. I can't remember the name of the store, but I got it down there. This one's 110 proof, and it's a cognac finished one, and it's Bardstown, and it was expensive. It was like $120, I think, but I don't really care for it either. There's some other cognac ones. There's a Blood Oath, I think 6 is cognac finished. I enjoy that one. If it's not the 6, forgive me, it might be the 7, I can't remember. But it's finished in cognac barrels, and I enjoy that one decently well. I don't love it, but it's better than this. And anyway, I just this did not work for me, and I gotta say goodbye to it. Last up tonight, the most expensive one in the lineup. I bought this when we were in Kentucky. I paid maybe 100. Whew, I want to say I paid 140 for it, maybe 150 for it. I think I paid retail for it when we were in Kentucky. This is the 5 malt stouted mash. I was so excited for it. It comes in at 90.4 proof, and this solidified my determination that I do not like malted bourbons. Bourbons that have that really malty flavor. It just isn't very good. And part of the problem is I don't like beer. I think I just don't like it. And if you love beer, by all means, drink your beer. Great. I don't. And that's why I drink whiskey. That's why I drink bourbon. But that kind of that maltiness that you'll get in beer, this five malt stouted mash, it's stouted, it's malty, and those two even make it worse than if it were just the maltiness or just the stoutedness. Because I have a stouted whiskey from Reservoir Distilling that I actually kind of like. It's interesting, and it's got that stouted flavor, but I kind of like it. But this one is it's overboard with it, and it just kills my palate. It destroys my palate, and whatever I'm drinking, I can't get that flavor out of my mouth fast enough, and it's not easy to get out of my mouth because it's such a strong and unappealing flavor to me. So for that reason, the Woodford Reserve, and the really sad part is this is a master distillers collection thing. This is like a special Woodford. It's they did that chocolate malted rye before this one, and I didn't like the chocolate malted rye either. I thought that was kind of, it was a bourbon, but they called it a chocolate malted rye, which is its own interesting idea. But for whatever reason, that was very bad too. So I haven't had great luck on the Woodford Masters collection stuff, other than the batch proofs. The batch proofs have tended to be decent, but other than that, I've kind of, I don't even know if I want to spend the money on them anymore. I'm kind of done with them, even though regular Woodford is actually a pretty solid whiskey. Anyway, that being said, this is the last one. And I don't know what to say. Hopefully these bottles will land in a Patreon's hand. Patreons, thank you so much for the support of Jamie and I and all that you do in the community with each other. Thank you if you're not a patron, thank you so much for supporting us by just watching our videos. That means the world to us as well. And if you want to, make sure you check out our live streams on Thursdays. Jamie and I, we get together, we get on usually on Thursdays at 9 o'clock. We have a lot of fun with folks interacting. Come check out our live streams. And also, if you like Jamie and I together when she's sitting next to me and we're filming, doing coupley things and having a good time, go check out her channel, which is Beyond the Row. Thank you for your support. If you like this video, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And until next time, find a bottle you love.